Okay, so this is the first, hopefully, of many segments that I do on my channel, and it's Odious One's True Fucking Stories. Okay, now there might be some slight embellishment or exaggeration on certain things, like how dumb a motherfucker was, or how ugly, how big motherfucker's head was, things like that, but the actual events that are being told in these stories are completely true. They actually happened. I will not change names or dates to protect the innocent. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to drop the names of the people that were involved. Anybody that knows me in real life probably knows these stories, and anybody who doesn't can actually, you know, if you want to, find the fucking people I'm talking about and ask them if this shit really happened. Because it did. Today's story is fucked up, to say the least. But let's see, the people involved. Actually, no, we'll take a step back. Today's story is happening in a shitty little town in Maryland called Hagerstown. Now, right about now, a map should be on the screen showing you the general location of this shit-ass little town. And if that's not enough, here's a zoomed-in picture of where Hagerstown's located. Okay, now, Hagerstown is a crossroads town. It is at the intersection of I-70 and 81. Okay, just about every corner in Hagerstown has a bar on it. The ones that don't have bars or liquor stores has churches. Fucking churches. Okay? So that way on Saturday you can go get fucking blitzed and hammered and fucked up and do whatever reprehensible fucking jacked ass fucking thing you want to do, and then the next day you can just go to church, do your 10 Hail Marys and your fucking, you know, repent, and you'll be fine. All is forgiven. And Hagerstown only has 2 exits off the interstate, and when you get off both exits, there's a strip mall or an actual mall. In the center of Hagerstown, there's a parking lot. Nothing, not a historical building, not a lovely district, nothing to show the history of this crappy fucking town, but a parking lot, okay, and a big fucking parking lot, like it takes up almost a whole city block. Just to put this in perspective, though, Hagerstown city blocks aren't the same as actual city blocks. A Hagerstown city block is like, I don't know, 200 feet by 200 feet. They're small, okay? But the entire center of Hagerstown is a giant parking lot. It was 3 separate parking lots, but the old fucks that run this place decided, hey, let's just make it a big parking lot. And there's parking lots everywhere. Parking, you know, fucking parking lots. Just, it's insane, the amount of parking they have in this shitty fucking town. Okay. Now, Hagerstown's not all that big, and it's basically a half hour away from Frederick, okay, but it's got a plethora of fucking little suburb towns, Smithsburg, Williamsport, Clear Spring, Funkstown, which happens to be a town that's within Hagerstown, but don't worry about that. See, Williamsport, Clear Spring, Smithsburg, whatever, okay, but you get your shitty little fucking suburbs of a shitty fucking town. Okay, now, Morgansville, which is actually the suburb that some of the story happens in. But, back in the day, and by back in the day I mean 15, no, more like 18 years ago. So yeah, right now I'm 34, okay? This is back when I was 16, 17 years old. We had this crew. Okay, and a little circle of friends, and all our friends had crappy little nicknames, you know. One person especially, Dennis Johnson, liked to be called Casanova. Motherfucker constantly trying to put out the fact that he's a player or a pimp or whatever. Okay? Motherfucker was tall, 6 feet tall, lanky as fuck. Jonathan Taylor Thomas blonde haircut, had this shitty little rat stash that was barely coming in. Okay? And he also had a tongue that was too big for his mouth. Now, of course, he tries to play it off like he's the ultimate pussy-eating machine because he's got an enlarged tongue. But it would also cause him to mispronounce words like breakfast. This motherfucker couldn't say breakfast. He'd say breakfast. And I don't know what the hell breakfast is. But while I'm eating breakfast, you can have your breakfast. I don't want no part of no breakfast. He couldn't say spaghetti. He'd say paschetti. I mean, that's more common. But there's a whole slew of words this motherfucker couldn't say because his tongue was too goddamn big. Thing was, he could actually say break and fast, but he couldn't say breakfast. It would be breakfast. Which is fucking amazing to me. But, you know, that's the ridiculous of Dennis Johnson, a.k.a. Casanova. Damn it. Whatever. So, let's see, who else in the story? Oh, there's Brad Ebersold, Jeremy Ebersold, Jason Baumgardner, fucking Alex Heckel, me, my brother. I think that's just about it. Now, Dennis, not only did he fancy himself a fucking player or a pimp or some shit, but he also fancied himself a motherfucking dealer. Okay, now, as much as he would bullshit and lie and exaggerate about all kinds of shit, the motherfucker could get his hands on just about everything, whether it was motherfucking electronics, drugs, clothes, shoes, whatever. Okay, this motherfucker would somehow fucking jack it off a truck or get it and sell it for less than wholesale. I mean, motherfucker was just selling shit, you know, making moves. Okay. Now, back in the day, I had no problem doing whatever drugs you would throw at me. I mean, shit, that's what teenage years are for, right? Experiment and get wasted. Okay? But, like I said, Dennis fancied himself a player. Times he would actually pay strippers to live with him and fuck him. Basically, being prostitutes. So he could look like women just couldn't refuse him. Constantly bragging about the size of his motherfucking Johnson. Yeah, Dennis Johnson's Johnson. Okay? Which, according to these strippers, yeah, motherfucker was packing. But it's not like it was au naturel, okay? This motherfucker was spending all kinds of money on whatever he could find, whether it worked or not, to fucking jack up the size of his junk, okay? This poor motherfucker. But I take this trip out to Arizona, right? Me, my brother, Alex, and Alex's brother. We go out to Arizona for 10 days. And we're living it up and we come back, right? We start telling everybody what it was like. And the one thing that Dennis fucking hears is that the price of shit is like 1/10 what it is here in Arizona. Because that's Tucson, Arizona. It's an actual city. Okay, they got more than enough motherfuckers, more than enough supply. Okay, so in order to keep the demand up, you got to drop the price. Just, you know, that's the way it is. Because there's just so much shit there. Whether it be electronics, food, clothes, drugs, whatever. Okay? But so Dennis gets this brilliant idea that he's going to set up shop in Arizona, ship shit back to Hagerstown, and charge full price for it here when he only paid 1/10 of it from there. You know, that was his brilliant idea. Now, he had a dealer, okay? This motherfucker claiming that this motherfucker was like a retired fucking cop who was jacking shit out of evidence lockers just to hook this motherfucker up. Now, keep in mind, this is a 16-year-old kid, okay? If you want to believe that some, you know, veteran police officer was going to trust some dumbass Clear Spring kid with the info that he's doing this, let alone the actual product, you got to be out of your fucking mind. Okay, but this is some of the shit that, and this would change all the time. Dennis would constantly claim different shit about this one motherfucker. And he was careless as shit. Motherfucker would just leave shit lying around all the time. Okay? But so he goes to his man and fucking, pitches the idea, hey, I'm gonna move out there and ship the shit back here, and we're gonna make fucking bank off this. He thinks he's gonna be Johnny Depp and Blow or some fucking bullshit. Goofy looking, herpes having motherfucker. But so this motherfucker goes to his dealer. His dealer throws him something like $30,000-$40,000 to go cross country and set up shop. Okay. Now we all know he's going to do this, but it kind of happens suddenly out of nowhere. And Dennis packs a bag and fucking bolts. Doesn't even take his shit with him. He takes like a week's worth of clothes, right? After a couple of days, we get a phone call from this motherfucker asking us to pack up all his shit in a U-Haul, and whatever doesn't fit in the U-Haul throw in a storage bin, and have somebody drive the U-Haul cross country to take him his shit. Okay, so Brad ends up with Dennis's keys, and as soon as we walk into this motherfucker's apartment, we start seeing shit that wasn't even his. Like, he had stolen it from us. Like, there were my fucking stereo speakers were in this motherfucker's house. Like, we all thought this shit was stolen. It was stolen. It was just stolen by somebody we knew, okay? And he knew. Like, we were looking for this shit. He knew. He kept it under wraps. But, anyway, so we're moving this motherfucker's shit out. And we come in his house. We come across a room that's padlocked shut. Brad has the keys, so we unlock this motherfucker and open a door. Now, you're sending a group of people into your house to move shit out. You figure you'd give them warning about the shit they might see, because, they're going to be going through your fucking house. But we open this door, and hanging from the ceiling in this room is a fuck swing. That's not exactly, we expected to see some shit, but not a fucking fuck swing, But this was Dennis's fuck room. Okay. Now, we kind of just left that alone. We were like, okay, we'll deal with that shit last if we have to. Okay. But it seemed to pique Jason Baumgartner's fucking interest. So while the rest of us went to the rest of the house and we're packing up this U-Haul, out of nowhere, Baumgartner comes out of the fucking idiot. Baumgartner comes out of the motherfucking bedroom going, yo, who's got a lighter so I can spark this bong? And this motherfucker's mouth deep on this bong, just sucking away, trying to get a hit. We look over and realize that he's throwing all his lung power onto this thing, right? Well, he pulls off of it and goes, yo, what the fuck? Why is there lotion on this bong? And we're like, yo, oh, dude. It's not a bong, son. It's a cock pump. And apparently that cock pump had jizz. Like, he wasn't just cock pumping it. He was fucking pump cocking it. You know what I'm saying? So this motherfucker put his mouth on a jizz-covered cock pump. Instantaneously dropped that shit, ran outside and started throwing up. The rest of us are laughing our balls off because we just saw a dumbass couldn't tell the difference between a fucking bong and a cock pump. Not to mention the fact that you just put one of your friends' jizz all over your mouth. You know what I'm saying? But so we finished packing everything up and taking the shit that he had stolen from us. Whatever random monies and things that we found, we split up between us because we're like, fuck it, this motherfucker's gonna steal from us. And he's going to give us the keys to his apartment to find out that he stole from us. We might as well just take whatever and send him his bullshit. So we pack up his fucking bullshit, and I think it was Alex that ended up driving the U-Haul out to him. Okay. Now, days go by, weeks go by. We haven't heard anything from this motherfucker about setting up the operation he was supposed to set up, because we were supposed to be the people on this side, the hub, so to speak, and we ain't heard shit. Weeks go by. I think it's like a couple months go by now at this point, and we still ain't heard shit. Come to find out, Dennis took his dealer's money. Like I said, 30, 40, 50 grand. took it and bolted and was planning on just, you know, keeping that for himself. But like I said, the dumb motherfucker told his man where he was going before he fucked him over. So after a couple months of nobody hearing anything from Dennis, we get a phone call from some of our people in fucking Tucson. Apparently Dennis hooked up with this massive, like 400-pound Hispanic broad and was just living it up. I don't know what it is about scrawny, lanky motherfuckers getting with excessively fucking overweight women. But, you know, she was like 4'8", 400 pounds. He's 6 foot tall, 150 pounds. It's like a toothpick in a fucking marshmallow. But anyway, so we get a phone call from one of our people out there. Apparently Dennis was just living it up off his dealer's money, and he was at work one day, and his dealer walked through the front door. Like this one, you told him where you fuck you were gonna be at. Like, this motherfucker ain't gonna come looking for his 50 grand, 40 grand, 30 grand, whatever. Tens of thousands of dollars you fucked this motherfucker over. You think he ain't gonna come looking for you. So this dude shows up at Dennis's job, and apparently, obviously, Dennis freaks out and runs out the back. Nobody ever heard from Dennis or his girlfriend again. They were just gone, poof, disappeared. And like I said, that was like fucking, what, 17, 18 years ago. Still nobody knows what happened to this motherfucker. I mean, I'm assuming that this motherfucker is sleeping in the middle of the desert in a hole in the ground somewhere, you know, right next to his fucking bitch. But, yeah, I mean, that's what ended up happening. Well, that's what most of us think happened to Dennis Johnson. You rip off a drug dealer and run. I mean, if it was like $500, $1,000, motherfucker might just write it off. But you took him for tens of thousands of dollars. You know, and the bullshit stories you used to tell us about how he was a fucking cop and all this bullshit. You really think motherfuckers just gonna let you get away, especially when you told him where the fuck you was going. You know, buried him in a grave in the desert with his fuck swing and cock pump. Oh shit. But yeah, that's the legend of Casanova. That's what ended up happening to one of the people in our crew, Dennis Johnson, the motherfucker who paid strippers to live with him, used extends and cock pumps, and oh man, fucking moron. But yeah, so you know, there's episode 1 of fucking story time, people. I hope it was an enjoyable fucking story. Have a lovely fucking day.